Bonjour, Kinamagi and Ireland Indigenous, and welcome to this math review lesson. Today's edition, comparing decimals. We'll start with our friend mathisfun.com. And you'll see here we have some place value. All the way over here is 1, and 0.1 is way over here. This suggests that the 1 is greater than 0.1. So I need to find the 0.1 or 1/10 is less than 1, and it goes right there. It opens towards the bigger number. Now we have a 0.3 and a 0.4. We're going to focus on that tenths. 3 is less than 4. So 33 hundredths is less than 42 hundredths. Now in this one, 9 is greater than 6 in the tenths place. So I would go right there. Now if you have both 2's in the tenths, you go to the next column over, the hundredths. 2 is less than 8. So there we go. And my time will run out on this page, and that's okay. You can play games on some of these, and I used it for the teaching moment. So we look at big is greater than small, and small is less than big. Let's use a new share here of a whiteboard. We're all used to having numbers like this and saying 3 is greater than 1. But how about in this case, I've got a 3 and I've got a 1, but is that the whole number? This one has 2 digits in the whole numbers. This one only has 1, so this is 11. 3 is less than 11. Those skills will apply when we get into decimals. So let's say we have a 0.2 and a 0.02. So 2/10, 2 hundredths. I always look in decimals. If I get over here, I start in the tenths place. And there's 2 in the tenths, there's a 0 in the tenths. 2 is greater than 0. How about 23 0.3? 23 is bigger than 3, right? No, not in this case. These are decimals. And in the tenths column, I have 2 here and a 3 here. So 2 is less than 3. So 23 hundredths is less than 3/10. And you can remember that because if I next a 0, suddenly it makes sense that 23 is less than 30. Get their color here. Another one we might practice. How about this situation right here? Both end in 31. And if this was a whole number, that's still 31. But we have to pay attention to our decimal points. We have a 3 in the tenths. We have a 0 in the tenths. This one's greater. I don't even have to worry about going over. So I'm going to pick the place values starting at the right of the decimal and just keep going over until 1's bigger. So if we had in this case, there's a 2 in the tenths and a 2 in the tenths. I keep going. 5 is less than 6. I know the answer. There is a way to trip you up, though. How about 0.03 and 0.030? You have a 0 in the tenths and a 0 in the tenths. Keep going. We have a 3 in the hundredths, a 3 in the hundredths. But we have a 0 over here. So what do? One thing you may consider is annexing a 0 at the end of the decimal. And this is only true on the decimal side, not on the whole number side, so that you have 3 digits and 3 digits. Now suddenly you're like, those are the same numbers, Mr. Ireland. And you're right. They are equal. Today you're going to be given a worksheet and you're going to compare. And I do want to give one final piece, that a 2 is equal to 2.0 is equal to 2.00 for what we're doing here. So zoo apparently. But you have the opportunity to add decimals on there if they give you a whole number. You will have a worksheet that will ask you to compare a set of numbers. If you're using the Google form, you will have some of those problems as well. If you have questions, you should definitely reach out to your teacher, which is me. Trust me, you should. I'll be there. That'll conclude this quick review of comparing decimals. If you're doing the online form, you should remember that it is graded, so you shouldn't be using any other resources on this particular one. And if you're stuck, please do reach out. I'm more than happy to help you grasp this concept before we get to the end of this quarter. So at this point, I'm going to tell you to have a Minogishigad. Meanwhile, Bamapi.